don't know if you know this, but nowhere in the Dharma does the Buddha ever say thank you.
Nice. I respect him even more now.
Did you know that?
No, is that how do you know this? Like, have you gone through it all? And
well, because English wasn't invented.
You're a dickhead. You're a dickhead. Nowhere did he ever mention the word homosexual. Why? Because it's an English word, and my buddy, because he was fucking pally.
There was a great word in Carl Jung's AION book bit I was reading yesterday. Oh God, what was it? Homo gigantus, and I was like, "That's me."
Nice. Get out, Carl.
It's great, like you know what the word means, but it's still titillating to get a laugh out of it, you know. God, that book is mad, man. He's dropping some fucking truth bombs in the middle. I've just gone. I'm up to around page 200 or so now, but like from page say 140 onto 170, it's just bomb. Right,
well, what's that?
This is how you live your life. This is what you should do. This is why you're here. Yeah. This is why we need religion. This is why dogma is important. And it's like, holy fuck, man, this guy's on a roll here.
Does he go, you must have sex with all your secretaries and all women who ever come in the vicinity of you. Your wife won't mind. Yeah. Turned out she didn't mind. So thanks to El Carl. Yeah.
What level of wealth do you need to have where like that's okay? You know, it must be quite a lot.
And also no oversight, I suppose, from the governing body that you're doing psychiatry from. But I assume he was the oversight for the governing body.
He would be the I don't know how anyone could do it. Like, just
he worked full time till near the end, didn't he? Like, as a psychiatrist, like that was.
How does he get the time for all this?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the work full time could be 4 people a week. I don't know what you know if you're.
Well, yeah, that's true as well. You know, and he wrote so much. And he died kind of grumpy, though, didn't he? But then again, all men...
He lived a bit grumpy as well, in fairness.
but all men kind of die grumpy, don't they? A lot do, anyway.
Well, who's going to die happy? Like, I mean, is there going to be, today's the day. Yeah, well, so maybe I'm just going, today's the day. Good day to die. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Maybe some people do.
But then again, I don't know. It's like, what's that fella, John O'Donoghue? He says something. Ram Dass had said it as well. Like Ram Dass said it in one of those in the Timothy Leary doc we saw. He said something like people do the best spiritual work in the last 15 minutes of their life or something.
It's because they have to.
Yeah. John O'Donoghue had said something similar in interviews. I'd heard him saying that like he liked doing the last rites for people who were conscious of it happening, kind of thing, because he's like, you could see a weight being lifted off of them, and then they realizing that, okay, it's not as bad as I thought, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. He died quite young, John O'Donoghue, didn't he? In the end, so youngish, I suppose. Well,
look, what's young, man?
he was in his 40s, wasn't he? So
okay, that's young then. 40s, I think 50s will be. I suppose will be young. Yeah, my folks they keep saying now that like, sure, that's young. I was like, no, he was 85. Well, it's young enough these days. You're only saying that because you are getting up towards the 70 mark. That's not young. I mean, Jesus, when I was a kid, 70 was old. Fucking was like.
Yeah, because I remember my nana on my mum's side, and she was always an old woman or whatever, and but she was like an old woman, like at what we would consider an old woman, like 50s. You know what I mean? You got old at 50, and then you were the old nana at 50. Now it's like it just doesn't seem to have the same. Because you have to, everyone seems a bit younger, but also that's because I'm a bit older, and so the age gap isn't quite as big. So, but I do think people don't look as old as they used to. But I think people try to stay, I suppose, younger and more with it for longer. Whereas years ago they just go, oh right, sure, that's it. I'm away. I'm away to get me white hair, me stick.
You're reminding me of. I presume you shared it on the topics on the Discord. What's his name? Eisenstein. What the fuck is his name?
Charles Eisenstein.
Charles Eisenstein. His new video with the with the great Beavis and Butthead ending.
Yeah.
what did it say? We're here. We're here. We're here. In The Simpsons. Remember, Abe and your man drink the fucking marijuana. We are so old. I couldn't stop laughing at it. I just thought it was hilarious. And we're here or something like that, wasn't it? And we're here. And we're here.
Yeah, you see,
they were laughing, but it's like
it's taken from the from an interview. Isn't it? That's the animation one you're on about, yeah. Yeah. So it's taken from the end of an interview where he's reading it out. So it's the two of them kind of, and he didn't want to do it, so they could have really edited that bit or got him to reread it or something. But yeah, it's an animation version of the end of what's it called? The more beautiful world that we know is possible, or something like that.
The Tribe.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's called The Tribe.
Yeah, that's the sections, The Tribe. Yeah, I kind of like it, and it fit in perfectly with my stuff that was going on at the time, of feeling of like being a pilgrim and a foreigner and not from this planet and all that. And then Charles Eisenstein comes out and goes, "Well, maybe you're not from this planet." I went, "Okay, thanks, Charles. That's helpful to actually feed into my neurosis. Thanks for that." But,
I've seen it been shared around though, because it's when they come out, 8th of December. Yeah, and whose channel was it on? Aubrey.
Yeah,
Aubrey. What's his name? Marcus.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the other fellas, was it? I don't know. I've seen it shared in a couple of places now.
No, I think Aubrey made it. It's originally from the podcast of him and Charles.
I see. All right. Yeah. Jesus, I watched it the first time and I just went, cult. What the fuck?
I know, yeah. It's just Scientology. It's just Scientology. It's just the cosmology.
I had a strong kind of reaction to it. I was annoyed, watching it, because there's a bit in it where. Wait, now we should explain this video, because we're doing that thing that we always do.
Yeah, we're taking everything we know.
Right.
Yeah.
So Charles Eisenstein went on the podcast with Aubrey. How do I say his name? Aubrey.
Yeah, and it's not even his real name. Aubrey Marcus.
So. Who the fuck picks a fake name, Aubrey? Strawberry.
Aubrey Marcus does.
Aubrey Strawberry. Yeah. Marcus Aurelius. Don't make fun of people's names, Spud. It's not
I know.
nice.
I'm just going to say.
You're named after a fucking potato. For fuck's sake.
I know, yeah.
So there's this thing called a gathering of the tribe, right? So basically, it's kind of like, I presume it's Charles Eisenstein's cosmology of.
Well, where it comes from originally is from his book, and he was originally hesitant about reading it out on the podcast because he says it's slightly taken out of context, in the sense that you kind of have to read what's the momentum and all that up to this point, and that if you just kind of take that bit out of it, it's going to sound like a cult, as you kind of, it sounds. So it's and he's not, and if you know anything about Charles Eisenstein, he never kind of he's not a big man of kind of defining things tightly enough, so he's like, is this true? Does he actually think that? Does it matter? Is it helpful? That kind of a thing, so that's the kind of context for it, rather than but I also wouldn't be shocked if he thinks this is exactly what the cosmology of
I presume this is what he thinks the cosmology of the universe is. It's like, yeah, I'm with most of it, except for the.
Well, we've got to explain what it is. Yeah,
we better explain it. So, there's a gathering of high spiritual beings, and they're all chilling out, having the crack, and
just like we think ancient Greece was, where they're just sitting around solving problems, not having slaves, none of that, not treating women as second-class citizens. No, sitting around just solving problems.
So they're sitting there, they're having the crack, and then the leader is like, "Who wants to take a load of drugs?" Which is what happens at most parties that I've ever been to, anyway.
Yeah, the leader.
And
right, yeah.
she says, "Oh wait, actually no. Well, there's this planet called Earth, and it's kind of fucked. And we have our shaman here, and he can get you off your heads, and you can go live on Earth. But you're not really living on Earth. You're still here, but you're just tripping balls, and." It's going to be terrible. It's miserable. It's not
it's
a nice
horrible place. Yeah.
You won't even like yourself.
Yeah.
As you grow older and enter the school system, education is going to beat inner knowledge out of yourself. Like, you're literally going to want to die.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this going, fuck that. That sounds like the worst. I'm not doing that shit.
I know, yeah.
What kind of fucking moron? Like, I'm living here in bliss and peace and happiness and angelic blowjobs the whole time.
Yeah.
What the fuck do I want to go to that shithole for?
To help people,
you can save people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not really helping people. I'm in a trip. I'm not doing shit. No, I'm still sitting here thinking about getting angelic blowjobs.
Oh, well, but you forget who you are, you see. That's the thing. You start to think that you are Spud rather than this.
Right. Well, then there's that bit, right? And you're like, oh, okay, fine. And then it goes to like, in your worst moments, that's when you'll know that there's the inner love, and it's in your DNA. There's this inner spark of
the footprints, Jesus holding you, all that stuff. Yeah. That's not it, but it's the equivalent. Yeah.
That sounds. But then again, it's kind of like, okay, well, what about all the people that killed themselves?
See, here's the huge problem with that. While it's nice and all that, is that it has two-tiered system where you have the people, and then you have the ascended master of real people.
Exactly.
Here to
this is the cult bit.
Yeah.
This is what I guess into next. He's like, and then as you wake up and have these awakenings, and even if you go back into normal society and your daily job and the drudge of all the normalness of life, there will be others like you. And I just went, cult! Cult! He is starting a cult. And like, in fairness, if you go to Eisenstein's website and all, it's a little bit culty.
But they're all are, in fairness. It is, and there's definitely a cult of personality around it, because there's no actual, he's not teaching Buddhism, he's not teaching Zen, he's not teaching Tantra, he's teaching what Charles Eisenstein thinks the world is, so it's based around. But I do like him. He's a bit mad.
Time for him as well.
Yeah. But he's a lot of stuff I don't agree with him at all. Like, I mean, I do think he's a bit doom pony at the minute.
It seems like there's just something a bit off. Something that I can't quite place my finger on.
I think I know what I think is off him, is that he definitely has he knows what he thinks, but he won't say it because he's afraid of getting in trouble. And there's a whole, there's like, you're waiting for him to say the thing, but he'll skirt around it, he'll mention, and then you kind of go, well, you end up going, I'm not really sure what he thinks, rather than just going, well, because he like go, God forbid I talk about Reiki and, or alternative medicine and how much it works, and you kind of go, just say you think Reiki works, like, what's the problem? It's like, it's this kind of trying not to get cancelled, I suppose, which, fair enough, if that's the world you live in, but it's like, are you getting cancelled because you say Reiki's real? But then I suppose the Reiki might be acceptable. It's homeopathy. People really have a hard time with that one, and they kind of, and then go, well, no, that's the guy who believes in homeopathy. I'm not listening to him. There's that dismissive. Yeah,
I get you.
But everyone, who isn't problematic, and I don't even know if he's problematic. He just has different opinions than me, like.
I wouldn't go as far as he's problematic. Yeah. But if you watch enough of his videos, you're like, there's something. What's missing here? There's something. Yeah. He's not revealing everything or something. Yeah, or there's an underlying moral judgment to it all that, and you're kind of going, what is the morals here, and why do I have to accept these? But I do like him. I think and he's great idea in the course he has on his website, where he's big into I'm not going to remember the word now, but it's basically pay what you want. It's like the gratitude market or something. Like, he has a word for it, I just can't remember. It's pretty cool. So that you can sign up to a course and get it for free, or you can pay $1, and then at the end, if you decide that it was worth a tenner, you can give a tenner. You can't go backwards, though, I've noticed. If you say it's 50 quid and you get to the end of the course, maybe have a look at your pay and go, I want 45 of that back, mate. You can't do that. Yeah, gift economy. That's he's big into that. And so am I. Into the, like, have your stuff that people can buy, have the stuff that you can, people can use, all the different things. I really like all that kind of. It's not quite barter, and it's not quite shareware or freeware. You're not just giving the stuff away, but you're including everyone. And he's big in inclusivity. In that, like, why throw out any of these ideas? Let's keep them all and see how that informs our thinking. Without needing it to be true. In the that thing. But, so to get back to the video, so the leader shaman.
If you could just shut up for a minute, Kelly, and we'll actually talk about this video.
So the leader shaman, or the leader talker lady, gets her main drug guy ready, and she's like, "Yeah, look, Earth's fucked. They need help. So yeah, who wants to soldier up and get their boots dirty?" And they all fucking fall for it. They all get guilt tripped. Fucking guilt tripped into coming down and saving this shit all because we're too fucking stupid to do it.
Well, there's also that
You know?
said at one point in our evolution we were also at this point and needed help.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, there's obviously the idea that like we're all this thing that has to come down, and like, you know, we need to put our socks up and do better, and obviously we do. It's the two-tier thing that would put anyone off, really, because it's like, oh, we're the awakened people. We see things differently than you.
Yeah, we'd be absolutely fine if we were the normal people. You know what I mean? And people came from another planet, came down to help. Go, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're all one, non-dual. Yeah, everyone, you come in because you learned all this. But when you're kind of saying, oh no, there's people here on Earth, right? And they're just normal Earth people. They don't really know what's going on. They're fucking up. And then you have people like me who's awakening from the dream. I'm from another place. You know, you kind of go, right, because you're getting close into NPC type stuff there too as well. You know, where it's you know, my usual thing of and it's spiritual bypass, effective blame. But that's exactly where that road's going. It's exactly where it's going.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what the problem with it is. You know, and I don't know, because like, I saw it shared around so much, and I was like, am I the only fucking person who sees what the problem with this video is? Nobody is giving out about it. And of course, I was too cowardly to put up something's up here, lads. Because they're missing something. But, I'm glad I can say it to you.
Yeah, but you should. Like, I mean, that's the thing, and it's one of the things that I suppose that I was given out about Charles Eisenstein doing is that again, you did it. You did exactly the same thing where you go, well, I can talk around it, or I'll say nothing. But but it's hard to give an opinion around something like that without then trying to defend it, it's like you're going, I'm not defending or attacking Charles Eisenstein. You know what I mean? And then it becomes a personal thing. You just go, no, I don't care.
It does,
Rather than just going, I think this is a bit sus. See you later, lads. You can't do that on the internet because you have to spend a whole day explaining why and defending your position, and other people disagree. And at the end of the day, you go, I don't even care about this at all.
Yeah,
you know?
there's no point.
I didn't even finish the video. You know, whatever's the thing. But
but at the same time, I like the sentiment of the video that, like, you know, we're all made of stars, we're all of higher something, and there is a purpose to living, to be good, you know, to be moral, to be just, to be brave,
to be kind.
To be the other one.
It does feed into that feeling, the separation, and it kind of explains it rather than trying to say, no, everyone has this feeling of separation because that's the nature of this place. Not that you're from another planet and there's, all of us are feeling this, and kind of you're playing into that notion of separateness, which is also another way of saying you're special. You know, it's that same thing. You know, and that's all that stuff that I was kind of battling with around the HGA stuff, and you know, as I was saying about where it ended up going cosmic, that it was not from this planet, you know. And then but that video then first came out that week, and I was reading the book as well at the same time, so there was a weird sync around that. Even though it's a 10-year-old book, you know, it's not that he wrote it that week or anything. You know, it came out in 2011. It's a great book, incidentally. You should read it. But there's two. As nice a sentiment as it is, ultimately it's not helpful, I don't think, because there's too much can go wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's another thing on it as well, is that, like, there's still that thing that, and you've spoken about this a lot, is that, like, we're not from here. Yeah. You know, this, like, it's okay, like, we should look after the planet, but ultimately, it's not really our home. And if we're just good, then God will look after us anyway. So, you know, if the desert's on fire, it's all right. Like, you know, which is
not a real. This is not our real home. Yeah, it's not where we belong.
I'll die on that hill. Like, this is our home. This is our real home because we're fucking here. Like,
and the more I travel this path and all that, the more this is my home. I feel more at home for the exact same reasons I felt not at home. If you know what I mean, it's like, no, this is the place.
Yeah.
I mean, stop listening to being told that you're not, like, because everything is telling you, particularly in this kind of day and age, that this isn't right. You know, this isn't right. This is, you know, you have to get off. We have to go to Mars. We have to go to heaven. We have to, you know, whatever. It's like, no, well, can I be here, please? You know? Thanks very much, and it's okay to be here, and it's probably the best place for me. It's like, and in fact, the perfect place for me is right here, right now.
I think so, yeah. Because if that's not all this awareness stuff is, then that is what it is.
Well, that's one of the things that kind of
now, like,
bugs me, I suppose, about the whole awakening thing is that if the kind of Alan Wattsy stuff, the dream, the hiding away, the playing the hide and seek, that falls apart an awful lot for me, because if it is a game of hide and seek, then awakening is the wrong thing to do. Play the game, get more entrenched in the Maya, in the illusion or whatever is, if that. But so I don't think that makes no sense. So why are people awakening then? Because that obviously has to be the thing. And I think it's like the awakening is rather than the goal. It's like that's the starting point. Right, now we're awake. Now let's do the thing that we're meant to be here doing. You know what I mean? Not that the goal is awakening now I'm done. Now I can leave. Now I can go to Mars or to shiny heaven. It's like
I
now.
get you. Yeah.
Here we are, the starting line. We finally made it. Now, what is it we're doing here? What are we doing? All right, trying not to
plant more trees. Yeah, Jesus, I can do that. Yeah, that's easeady. No worries. Like,
be kind to people. All right, okay. That's just, right. What else? What else? Don't be a shitty person. All right, fair enough. Yeah.
What? Yeah. It's Christmas. I have to.
Yeah. Maybe help people along the way if you can. Don't put but don't strain yourself. Just be cool, man. Was it your one which just I can't remember. Just be cool, meditate, be cool. Is that it? What was it?
My thing, be sound.
Yeah, be sound.
Meditate, be sound.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try. That's all you have to do, really. Well, it's not all you have to do is try. You have to try to try. Even,
and then the next day you wake up and go, fuck this place. I want out of here. This is a shithole. I hate it. Charles Eisenstein is right. I want to be on a different planet. Come on. Elon Musk, man of the year. Time man of the year, Elon Musk.
Well, I mean, Hitler won it before, so.
Well, that's Time's response. It's for good or bad. It's the person who has the most influence. That's
their response. But the thing is that they awarded it to the Austrian. Not the German, the Austrian. Let's never ever forget that he was Austrian. Okay, they get away with far too much,
Yeah.
And I love fucking Austria. Austria's great, but
let's tarnish an entire nation by one person.
They really got away with that one.
Yeah.
They awarded it to him before the war, and it was because of his
humanitarian efforts. Was it? He got the.
No, it was to do with the industry and the road building and the VWs and the Volkswagens.
Barack Obama getting the Nobel Peace Prize, moments before he murders hundreds of thousands of people in the other
droning the shit out of fucking civilians in Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah, nice one, lads.
Yeah.
The world's a weird place, isn't it?
It is
Are we grumpy today? No, we're not grumpy. It's just we're awake and we see things. Isn't that it?
That's it, yeah. I'm actually from a different planet. I know more about this stuff than you because I have a different perspective.
I'm from the Pleiades. I love when Bernardo Kastrup goes off on one about the Pleiades.
Yeah,
Jesus
he's
Christ.
really angry.
No! It's wonderful, isn't it? It's just great. It's fun, yeah. Have anything else to say in this video? No, the video's worth watching. First time I didn't like it. The second time I did like it. I'll probably watch it again and I like it even more.
Well, the third time you should just watch it as not the most recent podcast with Aubrey and Charles Eisenstein. If you go to the previous one, just watch it as him reading it out. Without the animation, give you a better appreciation of it.
No, it's a nice look. I suppose that the message of it is good. And it's something, but like it's just maybe it's me and you. We just fucking read into things a little too much.
Or if all of us were on this mission, which I think all of us are, it kind of lets people off the hook too as well. The opposite side of it. Oh well, you're not here on the mission, so you just be an asshole.
Yeah,
that's fine. But it's like no, if we were all the people, and we were all, I can get on board because I do. That's what I think. We all are here on a mission of some descriptions. That's it. And,
be nice, be whatever.
Yeah, be cool, be sound.
Don't be a dick. That's Tommy's rule on Discord. Don't be a dick. It's fine, That's a nice base level. We should at least fucking aim for at.
Yeah, if we can't do that, if we can't even get it together to not be a dick, then I don't know. Some days it feels. There's changing the subject wildly to COVID again. There's been updates here in that we're going to get our shot every 3 months now. So the thing. But the thing I actually wanted to talk about.
What? A new booster every 3 months?
Every 3 months, yeah. So that's it.
That's not happening, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Wow. The Irish are really paranoid, huh?
Well, it's so far for over 50s, and then 16 to 49s with an underlying condition. But because we're one of the highest vaccinated countries in the world, and we've the highest cases, like it's not happening for us. So we have to do something, or at least have to be seen to be doing something. But here's an interesting one.
Yeah, but isn't it to do with once you had COVID once, it's always going to show up in these tests because
of 6 weeks to say 6 weeks, they'll show up for after you've had COVID. So to say, I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor, unlike Dr. Stephen Skinner, who also isn't a medical doctor. But the way the close contact stuff here is just ridiculous, because they're trying to keep the schools open at all cost. And so if you are, say you were at a park or whatever, and you've been at a park for 15 minutes, and it turns out that your kid is COVID, and then everyone at this park, if it's an indoor park, like a bouncy castle thing or something, they're all considered,
those things. Yeah,
they're all considered close contacts, right? But if you have your child indoor at school, and they spend the entire day at school and turn out they have COVID, they're not close contacts with anyone.
Right.
Okay. That makes no sense, right?
That's Irish logic, man. Irish logic. That's how it works. I know.
So I was kind of going, why would that? And why are they trying to keep the schools open at all costs? And I was going, they can't be for education purpose, because that's not an Irish way. And Vanessa pointed out, goes, it's probably because if they close the schools, that all the kids will get left with the grandparents. And I went, that makes sense. So that's, that it's the exposure to the grandparents. I'm going, that makes too sense, but it almost makes too much sense that can't be the reason why it is.
It wouldn't work over here, because you have a lot of, there is a word for it. You have a lot of extended families as well living together.
That's right.
Like you have grannies living with people, and like the lads next door to us, there's 3 generations in it, and that's quite normal. It's quite normal here, as it is in most of Europe. For people who most people do live in flats, but then a lot of people who live in houses have multiple generations in a house.
Yeah, well, you're going to see an awful lot more of that in Ireland, given the rent and the mortgage.
Look, the whole of Poland is sick and no one's talking about it. Like, so many schools are closing down. Aga was saying one of the kids that goes to her, what do you call it, ceramics thing, is in a class of 30.
Her what fucking whatever shit she does, ceramic bullshit thing she does.
She's really good at it, man.
That art shit she's into. Yeah.
I should show you some of the stuff that she does. She's great.
I've seen some of that, I think, on her Instagram.
There's 30 kids in the class, and only 7 of them can go in, because all the rest of them are quarantined and stuff like that. The lads we do the horses with, they're like, everyone's cancelled. All the kids are cancelled at the minute, because whole classes are under quarantine. But the numbers don't really show it. Okay, there's 40 or 50,000 people a day in the numbers, but like, you're right. If 80% of the classes have only 20% of the kids in it, that doesn't amount to only 50,000 people.
But is it a case of that they don't have coronavirus, they just have to do their 10 days in case they have coronavirus, so the numbers aren't
both.
Both.
Right, it's a lot of stuff as well. I mean, people are getting sick and they're not reporting themselves as having it because they don't want the cops checking in on them and stuff like that,
Yeah, there was a friend of mine who had to take a couple of days off work because he got an email alert or a phone alert, text alert, saying that he was in some shop that someone might have had COVID, and so he used to take time off work with no money, or sick days or whatever it is, and he didn't have it, and it's like, it seems to be clamped down very hard on some areas and then kind of let go whatever you want in this kind of other, and it's just like, how are we going to get out of it?
It's weird. Look,
I don't know. But you can't shut down everything again for 6 weeks, because that didn't work either. So it's like,
well, to be honest, over here, man, you'd never even know there was a pandemic, only for you have to wear a mask in shops. Other than that, you'd never know. Really, you wouldn't. We were down at the Christmas market the other day, and people don't wear masks outside. Why should we? Don't have to anymore. So what's the point? There wasn't many people at, but over the weekend I saw some pictures on their Facebook and whatever, and it was packed. Loads of people. you
Right.
know? And then again, because it's a border town, and because Czech has a pretty strict lockdown of outdoor stuff at the minute, they all come across the border.
Right. Nice.
You know,
nice. Yeah.
and
But you were saying we've only a year left anyway because the World Health Organization.
So. There's the thing keeps popping up on one of my on my Twitter. So one of the sponsored Twitter ads from The Economist, I think.
Right.
And it's you know, this is a thing that's well known. There's a lot of people sharing a new Rogan interview with some doctor, and that's going to be very conspiratorial. He's like, I watched one clip, and he's like, "Yeah, look, this was planned. No, sorry, not this was planned, but that this was predicted so well if you do a little bit of scraping and looking." He's like, you know, a couple of years ago there was this huge seminar where doctors and pharmaceuticals and all were at it, and they said like the next big virus is going to be a coronavirus, and this is how we're going to have to deal with it. And I'm watching it going, okay, so obviously all the conspiracy nuts are just going, and like, I'm like, okay, so that means that all the predictions were right then.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of okay with that.
Never blame conspiracy what can be blamed on ineptitude, stupidity. You know, like everyone going, this is going to happen. Nah.
Yeah.
It happened. I knew it. You knew it. You made it happen.
It's the thing you were talking about before with when the fire alarm goes off in an Irish pub or hotel. Like all people ever do is just go, hey!
Or, oh, fuck's sake, fire alarm, trying to sleep.
Yeah. No one leaves. No one does that.
Yeah.
So, no. So,
but that's it, because it's not. This doesn't concern me. You know, this isn't this. Because we were talking. I don't know if we said it in the podcast or after, but we were talking about the storm that happened here, and people were kind of told by the government, this is level red, code red. We don't use them here, but now that we're full Americans, we're going to start using them. That the world is American. And so code red, don't leave your house. Don't leave your house. And those people being forced to go to work to clean and stuff like that. And it was like, it's trying to get your head around why that is, because people don't think the warnings are for them. That's stuff that happens to other people. You know, it's like, and it's the same. We do that globally, obviously, clearly. But I don't know, Texas Joe, I can't watch him. He's like, I probably should watch him, just, you know, that kind of, just to kind of dip my toes in to see what's going on in the world. Yeah.
I don't either, but it's just that this thing did pop up on the feed today, and I just clicked and I went, okay, this guy's actually a doctor he's talking to for a change, so he might know something. And I mean, it looks like it's fairly interesting, all right.
Well, I mean, Brett Weinstein, is he still claiming the lab leak hypothesis?
No idea.
I kind of...
This is connected to it as well.
Yeah, he doesn't come up anymore in any of my feeds, because the only time I kind of got exposed to him was through Rebel Wisdom, and I think Dave Wisdom has pulled back from the Weinstein bus. He doesn't get mentioned much in it. In fact, it doesn't seem to be many Rebel Wisdom videos being pumped out at the minute, compared to when there's a Twitter drama going on. There's like 6 put out in a week.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I've not really been paying attention to it now. But I don't know. I mean, I might dip my toe into that one and
well, I'll tell you,
because
that's perfect. Will you watch it and tell me what I need to know, if I need to know anything, and then that'll save me 3.5 hours of my life.
See, the only thing is that I'm not a fan of stuff like this, because it's kind of like, do you know, it makes you're anxious for the future, depressed for the past, right? But you're kind of like, it's making you angry about stuff that happened ages ago and you wouldn't have had any control over anyway. Yeah. Do you know? So it's like, you know, you can watch this, oh my God, that's so terrible that they knew this was going to happen and they didn't do anything about it. And then you're like, Spud, what the fuck could you have done about it? I could have bought more pasta at the time that Lidl didn't have any.
Yeah, and let's be in my drawer. Because I don't like pasta.
You know, I could have taken more vitamin D the first time, but like, I don't know. Like, he does say some bizarre stuff that, like, you can't get COVID twice.
I beg to differ. I know people who have, so.
Yeah. That's what Rogan says. That Rogan's like, no, I know someone. He's like, no, you know someone who thinks he had it. And they go, oh, that's not nice.
No, that's not
to talk to people like that.
Is that I don't know. Is that a scientific viewpoint? No. You only believe that because if you disagree with my theory, then you're a liar.
Yeah.
Or you have proof that proves my theory wrong. You're obviously lying. Yeah. No, I'm definitely not watching that.
Yeah, it's weird because like he used to have such fucking good guests like Brian Cox and interesting people like that. You had Sheldrick on it. You had that other
Graham Hancock all the time. Mel Gibson on talking about stem cell research. That's actually a brilliant interview.
Had really interesting people. Now he's just sticking with these fringy weirdos.
Well, he's the new Alex Jones, isn't he? Like that's the slot he's fulfilling these days since Alex Jones can't. He has Alex Jones on as well. Not that I don't think I've ever watched the Alex Jones show. I've only ever seen clips that have been weirdly auto-tuned to music or something. You know, that's really but yeah, you see the thing with the kind of the new, well, it's not the big part of conspiratorial thinking in Pearl Harbor, the new 9/11, the new, there's like this list of all of these things that they allow happened, but that's all hindsight stuff, you know, that's kind of like we knew this was coming. I mean, everyone had been talking about it's going to be a coronavirus. This is the kind of thing. And then if it does happen and no one has done anything, then, you know, it's a breeding ground for kind of going, well, it was orchestrated. But the problem with the orchestration of it is if you were trying to do whatever these conspiracy theories are trying to say, and I fuck governments. I don't believe anything. I'm not one for saying anyone is doing a great job at the minute. But, it's just I don't believe they're... could get their act together enough to do this conspiracy for one. Not the Irish government anyway. But if you were going to have a conspiracy where you're trying to depopulate the world or whatever it is, right, and you do it in such a way that the only people that would be left are the people who didn't take your vaccine, and they're the people who are going to be the most hard to control, why would you do that? What you would do... No, but why? You know, why would you get rid of all the people who are do exactly what they're told? What you do is you'd put the really dangerous stuff into ivermectin, because that's going to get rid of the people, the people who are giving out, the conspiracy people, the contrarians, all that. Yeah, that's how you get that. Like, but that's Bill Burr. Like, well, I actually said it before Bill Burr, and then he said it on a TV show, and he got popular first with my joke, or my insight. How dare he? Because we're the only two people who thought that no one else in this planet has come to that conclusion. But, and ultimately, like I've been watching, there's a new Channel 4 documentary about QAnon. It's like a weekly thing, and I watched the first episode, where it's different from the last one that was on the HBO one, which was very focused on 4chan and 8chan. This is more about the actual people involved who are into it on a day-to-day level, but not on a kind of leadership level, although it does bring in the kind of leadership thing. Right. It's very interesting, and it's just it kind of goes behind this, like, why are they believing this? You know, what is what is the need that's being fulfilled out of this? And it's,
what is it?
Well, in one case, it's a woman who seems fairly high up. She's a YouTube channel, something like that. But it's just she's no connection. She didn't get on with her family, and this is a way of feeling connected and feeling important and feeling needed and having a mission and a meaning and stuff like that. And it very much lays that out. And I don't know if she'd agree with that, but you can the journalist himself makes a very good kind of case. And it's like the Gonzo journalist thing, where he's in the middle of the story too. You know, he's part of the story too, which I enjoy. You know, when it's done well. It's done when it's done terribly. It's really annoying, but it's worth a watch. So is the other one, the HBO one.
But it's all. I suppose a lot of it comes back to a control thing. Like even with this chap that's on this Rogan thing, it's that like, well, I know this happened. Isn't it all about stamping your little bit of control on something?
Yeah. Or
isn't that?
It's to control it. Yeah. And but we do that in everything, you know. So that's just the grand scales. Yeah. We do it within our family units. We do it within our we do it like we do it in a way through the podcast. You know what I mean? But this is my opinion. This is and it's just a bigger kind of sense of all that, rather than. And what we were saying about defending, like, kind of the Charles Eisenstein thing, it's like if someone is attacking a video you posted, there's a personal thing you feel that you have to defend. You go, it's not even my video. Why am I defending this? But am I going to lose control here? And it's touching on some sort of nerve that you kind of, what's the actual thing that's being poked at there? Because it's nothing to do with Charles Eisenstein and his video or whoever. So it's a
there's that moment though when, like, you have to Yeah, I think if a lot of us just kind of let go of it a bit more, we'd be a bit happier. Because you can realise, like, I don't have any bearing on any of this at all. Why am I getting so annoyed?
Yeah, or so upset, or so scared, or because you're trying to control it. That's the thing. Well, if I worry about it, then that's a form of controlling. I notice I do that. I worry to try and control. And of course, as no matter how much I realise that doesn't work, I still do it. You know, it's something that, you know, which is why I suppose stuff like mindfulness and meditation, in that kind of sense, not for awakening, but for, you know, the concentration and the catching yourself, it's very helpful, because you go, oh, hold on, I'm in a spiral here, I'm in a loop, stop it, you know, and then the next time you catch it quicker and all that kind of stuff. Or even, like, because I probably spent years not realising that's what I was doing, and it was only through meditation that I started seeing it for what it was, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Because there's an interesting one that's happening recently. I don't know if I was talking to you about it, but it's like where I'm trying to have, so say a feeling, an emotion or something arrives during meditation, or even during, you know, your day-to-day life. It's hard to separate it sometimes when you're doing, you know, the meditative practice. You tend to do it when you're making coffee too as well. And it's kind of, so say sadness comes or something, or anger, and yet rather than trying to explain what it is, understand what it is, you just let it sit there, you know, and just go, okay, this feeling. And I've noticed that things like anger aren't always anger. It's just, oh, that's me immediately labeling it as anger, going, is it anger though? Or is it, you know, what is it? And it's a certain quality. But what then I noticed what I was doing was making it okay. So I was changing the nature of it, where so it was sadness, go, no, it's okay, it's, you know, I'm accepting. It's good, no, it's sad, you know, whatever it is, don't change the quality of it, you know, don't move it into something else, just let it sit there until it dissipates. And so that was interesting, that, like, when I was thinking I was being more aware, what I actually doing was changing the situation, or changing the kind of quality of the thing as well. And so it was like, I go, oh, Christ. So, there, you know, so I actually said it to Duncan, and he's going, yeah, that's just another part of noting. You're noting again on a different level that what you're doing. And it was like, oh, yeah.
I see.
And so I was going, right, grand. But it's, so then the problem then is what do you do, because you have to notice that you're having this, notice that you're trying to change it, and then notice that you're making a reaction to not change it and to return to the thing. And so I suppose at some point you just have to not do any of that, but you have to get through it to kind of go to it. You know, you have to get through the whole. So that it's kind of like that. It's noticing the loop you're doing, you know, and kind of seeing it. And you. But
then I suppose, to break out of the loop, you need to complete the loop. But then once you complete the loop, then you know how to complete the loop. But you still want to break out of it. I know you're putting a bit too much thinking on it, but.
Well, you're not. But you're not. Here's the thing: you're not. That is exactly the problem. That is the thing. Yeah. That's
but
the thing.
But I think what would break it then is that you said this a couple of videos ago. I think you were talking about Krishnamurti, his thing of that, like. I'm
okay with what happens.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I don't mind what happens. Yeah. It's not brilliant. Really brilliant.
That's brilliant. Do you know what? You said that in the video, and it popped up a couple of times. I'm only reading on Facebook for work, but I was scrolling through it, and 3 or 4 of the same thing popped up, and I was like, "Jeez, that's fucking bad." Because it's not like attention. It's not like no, but you know, like sometimes you might talk about, I don't know, kitchen sink or something, and then you get Instagram ads for fucking kitchen sinks. Like,
yeah.
We do this on the phone with my headphones, so my laptop can't hear you. Maybe fucking Google. Fucking metaverse motherfuckers. No, but I think that's the way, you know. And I was talking about this in the blog post I put out during the week. That's something I'm dealing with at the minute. With they don't listen. No one in my family listens. You can read between the lines and who I'm talking about anyway. About my folks, kind of thing. They're getting older and stuff like that. And it seems that the coronavirus has kind of affected them and made them grumpy, I suppose, or a bit more on edge and stuff. So I'm finding it hard to deal with, you know. And as well, like, I think, not to interrupt your flow there, but entrenched is a great word. I felt the COVID has made people double down on what they double down. Yeah. That's a good way of saying it. And as well, like, there's, you know, when a lot of people have this, I presume you have this with with your parents or in-laws as well, is that like that generation thinks that we parent the wrong way, and we all fucking know that they fucking parented the wrong way. Because look at the fucking state of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We think we're from a different planet. That's how bad your parenting was.
Yeah. Like, jeez, like, I was thinking this the other day, there was some ad was on, I was like, are boomers the worst generation? Like, really? Like, I mean, they have to be up there. You know, like, shit.
Well, the previous generation were the greatest generation. So I mean, like, how do you come after that? How do you fill those shoes?
So it's like, do you know, it's little things. It's like say for example, like, you know this, but any new parent has to figure this out fairly fucking quickly. When one parent, say there's a chocolate bar on the kitchen table, the kid goes to reach it, mama says, no, you can have it after dinner. And then dada says, it's grand. No, you don't do that. You have to be on the same fucking team, all right?
Even if you don't agree with it.
Now, grandparents,
different rules.
No, they don't give two fucks. They will use any excuse to say, no, let him have the chocolate. No, don't let him have the chocolate. No, he can't have the chocolate. His dinner's coming. Let him have the chocolate. It's fine. And this is what they did bringing us up. And this is why we're so fucking messed up, because there wasn't a single voice on something, you know?
Yeah, so you never knew where you stood, exactly.
Yeah. So this is why our generation's on messed up. And this is why we're trying to fix the generation that's coming up, you know?
And the great thing is we get to fuck up our kids in a completely new way. Some mad thing we're doing to them.
Completely different way. And but this is the thing that has helped me, is what you said in the thing, is I don't mind what happens. Because I say to myself, look, and like I went through a week there last week where I was pretty down about it, on and off. But then your thing came back to me then, and it got me out of it, because it's like there's no point in being depressed and sad about what I could and should have said months ago. There's no point in being anxious about what and having dream arguments in my head for what may happen in a few weeks' time, because it's like, what the fuck are you doing wasting all this good brain power, man? Shut the fuck up. Deal with it when it happens. You know?
If it happens.
Even if it happens, exactly. Even if it happens, then deal with it. So it's exactly your Krishnamurti things. I don't mind what happens.
Yeah. And I mean,
fucking deal with it then.
Yeah. Or, you just go, well, that's what it is. That's the ultimate thing, right? Okay. But it comes from, I suppose, following on from that thing, because it's the nature of the place. So, I mean, it's not going to ever be right. So you have to stop wanting it to be right at some point, or perfect and all that. So you just go, I don't mind, because that's what this is, you know. Yeah. But
and the thing about,
hard to do sometimes. But I'll tell you, it's not hard to do a lot of times.
But the thing about giving your love to it then, and just saying, you know what, like, here's our bad shit, but I still love yous, you know, my parents kind of thing, or whoever, any family or whatever. It's still nice to do that, because you can, if you're in the height of it and you're all angry and stuff, and then just remind yourself, actually, these are sound. Just you know, we're all messed up because they messed us up. Okay, but I'm less messed up than they are. Yeah. And they're messed up because of what their parents were. So like each generation, I think, is getting a little bit better psychologically. I hope anyway.
I hope, yeah. Or at least having different problems, we hope. But some don't. You know, there is some that like kind of where you have the same thing follows down the line or whatever.
Yeah, there's that too, of course.
And you know, and I mean, there's a lot of people who are exactly their parents and are never going to change. You know, so it's not that I think, but I think there's more people trying not to do that. You know, and there is that horrible kind of thing of abuse makes so many abusers, and because that's how they learn to deal with the world, and it's not an excuse, obviously, but you know, it's such a big part of us is our inherited kind of thing from parents, and that's how, you know, these traits could be going back generations, or, you know, they could be go back to a point where they were needed at some point, you know, this kind of harshness, say, or, you know, eat when you can, or whatever is the thing, because, you know, you didn't know when the next food was coming, so eat the fucking chocolate. Once you get chocolate,
there's also stuff you've no fucking control over at all. It's not her real name, so I can say it. No, I won't say it. Someone on the Discord said that they had... Is it they had identified, or the psychologist had identified? Oh yeah, you have separation syndrome. Oh, what? And do I? Yeah. Were you in an incubator when you were a kid? Yeah. Oh, there you are. And I was
really?
like, shit, I had that. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was in a microwave for about 2 weeks when I was born.
Microwave?
2 weeks early. Yeah, it's funny. I like calling it microwave.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready. So I think it was
Alright.
2 weeks anyway, something like that. And I never know then, like when people, every now and then someone will try and do your astrology chart, and it's like, okay, well, should I give it like, okay, I'm born on that day, but like I was meant to be born on that day.
I know,
that
but
make
that's
a
the thing.
difference?
Well, it should. It's when you arrive, whatever, ready or not. Here I come. Hello.
Are you ready or not? Yeah. But sorry, that's what I'm. But like, that's stuff that you didn't inherit, and there was nothing to do with anything. It's just well, nothing to do with anything. But you get what I'm saying? Is that like you didn't inherit separation anxiety, like that was put on you because. Through no fault of your own, you were put into a microwave.
But here's the thing: you can give that to your kids, and no one will know why that happened. If you didn't know that, if your mum never told you were in the microwave for 2 weeks when you were born, and you have this kind of feeling, and then that's your worldview, that's your thing, and then you teach your kids, and they have it, and they go, "Why the fuck have I this? Nothing happened to me," and it's.
But our kids have gone through it. They're through it now. I think it's usually between the age of 2 and 3. Kids get this separation. It's like we're basically to just follow mama everywhere, and okay, I thought every kid had that. Did that come from me? Sorry, lads. Fucking hell. Giving you my baggage already. Is there only 2 and that sucks. That's like the bit in the film that we'll talk about later. Where the father is so fucking sad. He's like, the thing you love the most, you've caused harm to, and it's like, jeez, that's heartbreaking. Oh my god, fucking hell.
Just go back with that thing, but also because it's pre-verbal, you're not going to be able to understand it in the way that you could when you have words for it, because you've no words for it and you can't classify it. You can't, and there's an awful lot of that stuff. So when can you start classifying stuff? And so that there's that whole section of your life is very fraught, and there's many things that can happen.
Sure, look. Hey man, you probably get through your whole life where you probably can classify a lot of stuff. Did you see I shared it there a while ago on Discord. Cormac McCarthy wrote this fucking amazing article. What the hell is it called? Damn it! I'm not going to be able to find it now. Wait now, if I do a search for Cormac McCarthy, will I find it?
Yeah, come on. No, it's in the Discord. It'll be in other interesting links, probably. That's usually where.
Cormac McCarthy. Yeah, the Kekulé Problem. So the Kekulé Problem was, there was this mathematician, and he had a problem with, basically he was looking for a symbol to represent some maths in a formula, basically, right? And he couldn't come up with it, and he was wrecking his head about this fucking ages and ages and ages. And then he stopped, went for a walk or had a shower or something like that, came back and went, oh shit, that's it, that's the idea. And it's like this thing about how to, there was a big thing on the internet yesterday or the day before about how to get fast ideas from sleep. So as you're falling asleep, hold a bottle of water, and then when you nod off, you'll drop it, and then you'll wake up quickly, and this is when you're supposed to get ideas. Salvador Dali used to do this the whole time, apparently it works. So McCarthy talks about this idea of that, like, basically he hypothesizes that language is a mistake.
And because, I tend to agree with him at times.
And because language is a mistake, and because our conscious and our unconscious are connected but different, that's why the unconscious can't communicate with the conscious, because it doesn't have
Fields
words.
and symbols, it's symbols. Yeah.
But the thing is that McCarthy's like, we're not fucking meant to have words. This is why we're so messed up, because we have words and we have to categorize and have to label and have to give everything an identity. Right? But
dualistic thinking. But
instead it should be like, when the brain thinks of a fish, it should think of the hundreds of things that are symbolically connected maybe with a fish, rather than like fish hungry. Or fish. That's fucking fascinating. Like such a
even down to things like fish, where we have already, we know in our heads what isn't a fish, and you go, well, why? A chair. When does a chair stop becoming a chair? You know, I mean, we know, but it's weird, isn't it? Because it's like, is the stone a chair? No. If it had legs, is it a chair? Yeah, it's not mad.
There's
Same
a stool.
stone.
That's a stool, but it needs a back. But what about a bar stool? That's a bar stool. It's a hybrid. Yeah.
It's so like so crazy. But like that's how we got trapped here. That's the illusion. If you believe such a thing. Rupert Spira, I suppose his way would be to forget about trying to work it all out. Just go direct. Be aware of aware. Be aware that you're aware, and all the other stuff will sort itself out. Which
it's not always enough, though. Like I like it, but I like it from the way he does it, because he's so erudite and so. It's the same word, well spoken. He's so able to put things into great context. He's such a fucking great wordsmith.
Yeah, he's great. He's very, very articulate with his feelings and his explanations. But
you remember a couple of months ago we were talking about your man Benito Mussolini, whatever his name is.
Bentinho Massaro.
He's terrible at it.
Yeah, he is. He's bad.
But it's the exact same thing. It's a direct method, it's direct awareness. But like his is like a bit like the prosperity gospel we were talking about last week.
Yeah, it is. He has a lot of law of attraction-y type stuff mixed in.
Yeah. That's not the awareness I want. I want the Rupert Spira one, which is exactly the same thing. It's just Spira's able to explain it better.
And it's strange because I definitely, like as we said before, he knows exactly what he's on about Bentinho. Like there's no question that he's not awake or whatever's the correct.
Oh yeah, for sure. He knows the game.
He also likes the cars and the women and the whiskey and the cigars and but like why not? Maybe he's right that if you're here, you're here. Like you don't have once you're not overindulging, I spud. Once you're not overindulging, I suspect. Making up new words.
Are you saying don't overindulge in ISIS, Spud?
Yeah, maybe. What? Yeah. That's the message that's coming through me. Don't join ISIS, Spud. Don't join ISIS. I know you've bought a Bible. Don't become a fundamentalist.
Yeah, I bought the Bible. Yeah. Whose comment was it last week? Because we were talking about, was the Bible last week or the week before?
Yeah, I think it was last week. Yeah, because we did Jesus last week.
Yeah, so the NASB Bible. Look at this, I bought a Bible. I've never had a Bible in my life since I left home.
That doesn't look like a Bible. That just looks like a
it doesn't look like a Bible. It's fucking tiny, innit? It's like an inch.
Like it's like
it's the width of your finger. It's an inch.
Something like Ireland since the famine, or British colonialism in India.
It's all there. Yeah. Paul describes himself. Now I, Paul, myself urge you, by the meekness and gentleness of Christ. It's I don't know whoever it was who left the comment to tell me this is the most kind of the best translation. Thanks. I'll enjoy this. I think.
Is that the one that has
I was ranting last week about I was ranting last week about like why King James is full of mistakes. So many of these Bibles are full of mistakes. Is there anything that is like a kind of modern translation? And I don't know commenter's name, I'm sorry, but he was saying that there's a few different kind of options when it comes to this. There's one which is a literal word for word translation, but it doesn't read like a book or it doesn't read like something that's worth reading kind of thing. But he says that this is the best one, the NASB one, because it's updated quite regularly and it's translated from the sources. So is it like when it was in the 90s, like, and Jesus said, "Yo lads, here's the deal, right? Be kind. Don't cowabunga, dude." And it's like the Sermon on the Mount now. It's like, be woke, be cool on Twitter. Twitter drama is to be avoided at all costs. Cancel not those unless you want it
be cancelled also. I tell you, we should write that down.
Oh, crack. Yeah, so thanks for that recommendation, commenter.
Yeah, some good recommendations.
That was good of you, because I'll tackle this. I'll pick it up every now and again and I'll have a go of it, because why not?
Yeah.
And then when I finish that,
read John first. That's what everyone does. Because John's mad. He's the mystic.
Right.
Yeah.
Then
in the beginning was the wokeness. And the wokeness was God. And the wokeness was with God.
In the beginning was the cancel.
Yeah. The beginning's cancelled. It was always cancelled. Always will be cancelled.
Yeah. And then after this, then I'll tackle the Nag Hammadi and the other ones. Now, the Nag Hammadi is mostly Jewish stuff, isn't it? So it's the Dead Sea Scrolls. Which one? No, the Gnostic ones.
Yeah. The Nag Hammadi has the Jesus stuff.
There was two big finds. two big finds.
Yeah, Dead Sea
One was
Scrolls.
one was the Nagahami, the other was the Dead Sea, and I think the earlier one doesn't have all that much Christianity stuff in it.
It's the Old Testament. Or
Yeah,
the Testament, as you know, if you don't go for the New Testament, it's just the Testament. What did I actually call it?
Oh yeah, they wouldn't call it the Old Testament, wouldn't they? But why would
the
they?
word for the Torah. The Torah. Yeah.
Nice.
Spud, The Last Shaman.
Tommy.
Shaman.
The Last Shaman, yeah.
Yeah.
This is on Netflix.
It is. It's. I don't think it's on my Netflix, but I watched it on Netflix a number of years ago and I rewatched it.
Nice.
It's 2016, but it was filmed in 2011. About a young man in his early 20s called James Freeman, who has dropped out of college because he's feeling, for want of a better word, depressed, but severely depressed. He's
bollocks! Oh shit! Oh no!
You deleted all your notes.
No, I damn it.
Do you watch a different documentary?
No. I have my notes. This is going to be embarrassing. Right. So I write the notes on my phone and then I email them to myself. Right.
Yeah.
But so my email is, like, I'm not going to give you my email, but it's Paddy something. Okay.
Yeah.
And I write for a bookmaker called Paddy something.
I think you sent it to them.
Yep.
Nice. That'll go down well.
Oops.
Yeah.
They'll have a great laugh at that now, won't they? Shit. Oh well.
Oh well. Spud, are you taking drugs in the Amazon?
Maybe they'll say nothing. I wonder.
So anyway, this poor chap who had to drop out of college because he's feeling severely affected by the world and goes into psychiatric care.
Yeah, I've written down here, young white man doesn't like his privileged life.
But essentially, he doesn't fit in. He doesn't. His parents, particularly his dad, has kind of groomed them, for want of a better word, to be all about success, about needing to be seen as intelligent, to be scientific, because his dad's a doctor.
Did you say groom? Is
groomed,
that fucking Madeleine McCann? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking Ghislaine, what's her name? What's her name? What is her name? Is it Ghislaine?
I've never heard it pronounced Giselle. I've never heard it pronounced. I've only read it.
But I mean, Ghislaine would fit.
Ghislaine, yeah. Or, arsehole, the C words that you're not allowed to mention on YouTube. Any of these, one of the worst people in the world, that all of these.
Yeah.
Anyway, this poor white privileged young man who, so he goes in psychotherapy, does CBT, doesn't find it effective. He then gets so bad that they do electroshock therapy on him. So they basically
I thought that was gone, man.
No, it's not.
I can't believe that's still a thing.
It's gone. The regularity
it's gone from the fucking civilized world, maybe. Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Still doesn't do anything. Still doesn't get what he wants. So he decides to go to Peru to take some drugs and see if, ayahuasca in particular, and see if that can help. He does a talk 2 years ago, like kind of at a symposium or something about ayahuasca, and talks a bit about the whole documentary again. And he's saying that the two big reasons why he wanted to do this, why he wanted to go to Peru. One of them, he kind of contradicts something he says in the documentary, but he kind of says that the documentary doesn't tell the whole story. One, he says it was because it's so bad and I'm so in it and so can't see out of it that I felt that he needed something big, one big thing to happen that would kind of knock some sense into him, kind of thing, that would show him the whole thing. Right, because he was feeling that doing the electroshock therapy and the CBT and stuff like that was more about trying to cover up the problem and just go, can you just get back to work? Can you just stop thinking like this so we can get you back into... Yeah.
That's what CBT is, sure, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like... It's... it doesn't bring in the whole kind of sense of, well, maybe the situation isn't great, or, but you can't change the world. You can't change the way it is, so you kind of have to try to help people to acclimatize or acclimate to a shitty experience or something, which is CBT. And he goes, well, that's not working for me. And the second one was that he felt that there was no spiritual component to the psychology, the CBT, the medical stuff, and he felt that he needed something like that. That he had also had, which is something in the actual documentary.
Yeah,
he kind of says the opposite.
He says he's not spiritual.
Yeah, I'm not spiritual, and it's not the thing. But so I don't know which is the truth, but or maybe because he's has this kind of thing about he's materialist, scientific. He would have thought it's all woo woo and stuff like that. The thing that he called spiritual in the documentary and the thing he called spiritual 10 years later might be, if he doesn't like the word spiritual, but it might point to it. What he's thinking, he needs something that isn't being acknowledged by materialism or by CBT, or you can't go, well, I feel this in my soul, and go, well, come on. That's not what CBT's. We can't deal with your soul here, or well, antidepressants. Don't work on the soul level, perhaps, whatever. So he goes on his own down to Peru, and
he gave himself. It's weird. Like it's kind of shocking the way he says it. He gives himself a 10-month license that he's going to kill himself if it doesn't improve. Okay, like. The start of my notes there, I'm making fun of him. A young white guy doesn't like his life. But then, 2 or 3 sentences later, I'm like, yeah, okay. I feel sorry for this fella.
And it's kind of like there's that wonderful scene. It's a horrible scene where he's on the boat and he's just getting the anger is coming out of him. This real thing, and where he's going, I've done fucking everything that I'm meant to do. I've done it all, and I don't feel human. And he starts hitting the side of the boat or whatever. And I know that you could equally you could laugh.
Man, that boat's going to fall apart, man.
I know, yeah. And
lay off it, man.
I was looking at it going, I wonder if Spud, he's going to go, he's just having a teenage tantrum. But there is an element to it. But it's obviously, there is, but he is going I don't know how not to do this. And, I'm doing everything you're telling me to do. All the things that I've been told to do. And it's not, I feel like shit. And I feel, and it's like, there's some part of him that's not being expressed, if you, in a sense. But I'm all over it. I've been there. I know that. I know. And I was going.
I went to school. I went to college. I got the job. I did all those things.
Yeah,
fucking misery town population Spud.
That's the scene on the boat. As it is, I recognise it. I've been that guy.
Oh yeah, been there.
Absolutely, I understand.
That's me.
Not where I've ever given myself a 10-month thing. But similar ideas where you have suicidal ideation as a way to cope with it, where you can go, well, I can always just fucking leave, and it's there's a thing that you can kind of have, I suppose, where you kind of start gauging how bad you feel by if you're thinking like that, and that's a bad sign, but it's something that I've done. So I mean, but I don't do it now. But
it's a shit.
Well, you could say it's shit, but so in that I can kind of I can see it, but I can understand why someone would kind of. Because there's a review on IMDb about it, and it's going, who paid for this? This poor white privileged boy who went 10 months. Isn't it great for him with his $50 underwear? And she kind of go, fine, I'm missing the point slightly, but I can understand your reaction to that. It's that's great that you got to go and do this. I'm stuck here in my shitty life. I can't do it, because I don't have the money. Whatever. Anyway, that's besides the point. But I do understand him in that moment, and I don't understand all that surrounds that it's. 100 years ago, there's no chance that you're going to Peru to sort out your mental problems. You're getting a hit over the head. Get back and, milk that cow, you prick. Stop being a prick. But it kind of then develops into a very, very interesting thing around the kind of culture about ayahuasca in Peru, and about how it's kind of, I suppose in a sense, been westernized.
Also, what's his name? James, isn't it?
Yeah, James Freeman, yeah.
Also how he's the unluckiest person when it comes to drug dealers on the planet.
I'll tell you, his first experience, if you were to tell the thing, but I'd be gone. I'd go, right, well, I'm going back to New York or wherever I'm from. When he goes to
who's the first guy? Pepe. Is it Pepe?
No, Pepe's the good guy. Pepe's the one he ends up with.
His name here, did I?
Or maybe, I can't remember. I thought Pepe was the guy who got he has to leave at the end. The first guy he goes to, and then there's an American guy he goes to, and then there's the
American guy is great.
Yeah, the cockfighting American.
The first guy he goes to, and there's some kind of cutscenes, and there's this one guy who's not in it ever again, but he's like, I had a vision, man, and Jesus our Lord came to me, and he said, what you're drinking, I drank at the Last Supper. And I went, oh yeah, sign me up for that shit, man. I want to fucking go with that. Talk to God. How's it going, man? Yo, cowabunga, I'm Jesus. So he joins up this group, and he's doing it the proper way. He's not doing the tourist way of come in for a day, take your ayahuasca, fuck off, I got your money. He's like, no, you need to do this, whatever it was, 10 days of cleansing your body, yada yada yada, and he's
The
does all
yata.
this, and he's like, but like he gets to hang around the ceremonies and all that because you have to see it before you do it, all this kind of stuff. Next thing they're in a morgue.
Yeah. What?
And they're
What happened
closing the
here?
doors, and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting one. Is he like died? And
Yeah, is he having
is this a metaphor?
Yeah,
And
death
experience. Yeah, somebody died. I was like, what the fuck? And then they interviewed
laughing, but it's like mad.
they interviewed the ayahuasca guy, and he's like, look, I told the guy not to take ayahuasca, but he was insistent and he wanted ayahuasca, and I said, don't take the ayahuasca, but he was really insistent, so I just said, okay, here's the ayahuasca, and now he's dead. What?
He had a previous condition to say, but I don't know. Your man is so nonchalant about the whole thing. It's good. Yeah, I mean, you come in the door, you go out the door. It's what it is.
So then he goes off and finds another drug dealer, who is it's Matthew McConaughey from Dallas Buyers Club. You know the one where he gets AIDS. He looks exactly like Matthew McConaughey when he has AIDS. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Except with what's that haircut?
A mullet.
People in Texas have a mullet.
Mullet.
Not everyone in Texas has it, of course. Obviously,
Everyone in Texas.
Every single
person.
Has it. So,
including Joe Rogan.
This fella's a bit. This fella's a bit mad. I reckon you can make a film on him. Like, he's all into his spirituality and being nice to the world and loving kindness. But he's like also quite strict about like, no, this is how you do the ayahuasca ceremony. You're going to be with me for like 2 or 3 months or something. But like on the weekends, he fights cocks. So like I don't know how you match those
as
up
in
really,
chickens and hens, not as in some sort of
That is
I don't know, homoerotic kind of a thing. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how you can be all into peace and love and happiness.
Well,
and
his answer to it is
like,
because I'm also a spiritual warrior. That is his response to it. That's why he needs to be able to both be cool, but also fight chickens with each other in a brutal manner.
Just buy a mountain bike, or hang out with mountain bikers or mountain walkers or something. You don't have to put 2 animals against each other.
But he's also.
Have you ever seen a cockfight? They're not as fun as they're made out to be on the films.
In the computer games, there's a cockfight in the new Far Cry.
There's a Russian bookie. They're called 1xBet, and they're terrible bookies. They take your money. They don't give you your winnings and stuff. They're awful. But they allow. I think they're the only one in Europe, because Russia is kind of a bit in Europe, to allow you to bet on cockfights. So like when
what's the point if you don't get your money then? What, you're literally just giving them money and there's a cockfight and go what?
They're just awful. No. I mean, in general, like there's loads of stories of people who have winnings, a couple of grand or whatever, in their accounts that they've piled up over months, and they try and take the money, and they're like, yeah, no, your account's gone. What? Where's my account? Putin, don't know. And
Putin has it on a bear.
Yeah, so anyway, so these launched, and I was working in a previous job, and I was like, everyone was getting free bets, free money off of these people, and I saw this thing, live events, cockfighting. I was like, fucking yeah, I'll have a go at that. I didn't bet at it, but I was watching it, and then after the first one, I went. Then after watching the first one, I was like, I'm never watching that again. That was horrible. That was disgusting. You know what I mean? Watching 2 animals beat each
one
other
dies,
to death
is it, essentially?
with their mouths, with their fucking mouths.
Anyway,
the fuck. Anyway,
Matthew McConaughey. He was also
Matthew
very interested in money too, because he's saying how much all this ayahuasca would be worth in the real world.
Fucking James is like getting to the end of his apprenticeship, and he's gearing up for the ayahuasca, and then Matthew McConaughey is like, yeah man, slinger hook, I'm after buying more land, I'm fucking expanding, piss off, you're bringing me down.
Yeah, you're just a drag, man. You're just a drag.
Fucking depressed on it.
Oh, hitting me both. Lump it away.
So then in comes Pepe. Pepe is fucking the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he starts him off on, is it a 60-day or 90-day cleansing thing? He's been down there for fucking 3 years by now, trying to just get ready for ayahuasca.
Yeah, and we're going to start you on the cigarettes, right? First week is just cigarettes. It's all you're eating, all you're smoking, cigarettes. Well, it's the tobacco plant.
Smokes like mad, and
so it's the dieta thing. Is that so? You're trying to get in contact with the spirit of the tobacco plant. So you ingest it, you surround your bed with it. It's like the thing we talked about before, but you light the incense so that the room infuses with the spirit of whatever you're doing. So it's the same thing. It's infused with the tobacco. I've lived in many, many flats that I was very much in touch with the spirit of the tobacco plant. It was infused in everything. There was kind of that lovely glow of yellow off white walls and windows. Yeah,
when you move a picture frame, you can see
yeah.
It's fucking disgusting.
There's a lovely aroma that never quite leaves. Particularly then years later you open a book that you had at the time. Oh, Jesus. So yeah. But I assume
there's a great scene during this though, because when they're doing the what do you call it? When he's smoking and he has a kind of a contact with a spirit. And there's a great scene where it's like all these mad cut scenes and there's dubstep going on. It's fucking, it's really good scene, really, really good. Then they bury him in a mask.
Because you know. But also,
no, I don't know. It wasn't said in the thing, but I wonder, is there a Jodorowsky type thing going on here? Because he says that the spirit told him that you're going to die and come back better for it. And then the next scene, then they're burying him. So I wonder, was that like, did he go to the shaman and say, yeah, look, I had this thing. And maybe the shaman was like, you know what, we must ritualize this then. Because that's what Jodorowsky would have done in that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but I think the death thing is, the burying thing is kind of a known ritual in the shamanic thing. It's a thing that happens. It's like one of, so I remember when I was doing the kind of stupid weekend shamanism courses back whenever it was, and I only did level 1 because I thought that was a bit ridiculous, to be fair. But the third level of that was a ritual debt, and you had to go through it. And then I ended up getting one of them done not that long after, where they do this shamanic ritual debt. And this is a very Western New Age. It comes from the one I was dealing with was Alberto Filaldo. He wrote The Four Winds, very famous kind of book. He does courses. Gordon White's actually training to be one of these healers at the minute, from Alberto Filaldo. But so I did one of those things. So I'm assuming that this kind of watered down, westernized New Age death thing, where you're just lying, in someone's kind of lap, I suppose. And
put a pillowcase over your eyes or something.
No, they don't even do that. You just close your eyes. You put on some sort of shitty shamanic racist CD that's meant to be Indians. It's probably 2 white guys, and pretend you're dying and this thing. But so I assume that is a watered down version of burying you in the fucking ground for a day or something like that. Or the actual thing. So but yeah, it's definitely something Jodo would have done. Yeah, no worry. Yeah, you're in the ground, mate. Get in. I'm covered you. Gold paint.
And look, I'm 94, so you're digging it yourself.
I know, yeah. And out of it. And in fact, I'm going home. So you're on your own.
And then comes the bit. I'll go back to you then. You can talk about all this, because the documentary takes a turn. Then Pepe gets fucked out of the village with no warning.
Yeah. So there's this NGO, non-government organisation, that comes in that is basically trying to capitalise on the influx of Western tourists to take drugs. And
I thought all NGOs were good, man.
Oh, I've never heard of a good NGO in my life. I don't know. I hear a lot of people getting very rich from NGOs. As a non-profit, that seems weird, but it seems to happen. I don't know. It just must be luck. Must be something that just happens. But anyway, these Western people come in and decides that we know what's best, and start saying that this is how you're going to. There's certain rules that are laid down. There's to try and it's all kind of, I suppose, presented as trying to create the economy and get people to. Stop being savages, basically, I suppose, is the, it's colonialism, it's all that kind of stuff. And there's a real telling thing that your man says. And he seems like one of these people who's from South America, who went to America and came back. He has a kind of an Americanized thing to him. That could be me just projecting, though. But he says, what we want to do is change these people's mentalities. I was going, oh, right, okay, so why, what's wrong with what they're doing? It seems to be working. No, in other words, we want to westernize these people. And so the rules sit there, and he gets chucked out, Pepe, because he is now no longer allowed to do private one-on-one things. He can only work for the NGO, giving the stuff, their kind of things. And he's kind of, your man James wakes up one morning and Pepe's gone. You're out of the village, man. He doesn't even get to say goodbye, I think he ends up sending a letter, or there's some communication or something. But I was just like going, can we not leave things
How
alone?
unlucky is this guy, huh?
I know, yeah. So this is the point where in the HGA where he's to cross the abyss, though. This is where he's left on his own and he has to do the work himself, in a very, very, very physical sense rather than in a kind of spiritual sense. But it's that stuff is just, I'd say that's rampant. I'd say now there's like proper companies and everything that's running all the ayahuasca with the front of Pepe or whoever is the shaman. Actually, you see it anyway on like all the kind of people who are doing ayahuasca ceremonies. They happen in Dublin. They happen in hotels in Dublin and stuff like that. And it's definitely, it's like Sean McMahon is the guy you contact on Facebook. You're going like, really? I don't know. It's like your thing that you always keep saying. It's like, I'd love to do ayahuasca, but I'm not doing it in my flat. I'm not doing it in my house. I'm not doing it on my own. You want to go and do it with someone who's at least had some sort of. Yeah.
No, I'd like to do it with one other person and a spotter.
Yeah.
A bit like remember the one with 3DO? What was that one we watched?
5MEO. Is that one?
Do it
two
that way.
English lads and the Irish lad go over to Holland.
Yeah, exactly. That one. That was good. I'd like to do it that way.
Yeah.
Let's go to like a kind of clinicy type place, and
but see that in that sense they got lucky because he seemed like he knew what he was at. But I'm sure there's 20 other people in that city who've been to Peru once or probably not been, and now are the shaman, because I know that from Reiki and I know that from all of these things that people go on these weekend things and now are a healer, and maybe so, but I mean I think you're doing more damage there, and you're not certainly not. I don't know. That's for another time. I also don't think having a government body from a different country coming in and telling you what to do is the answer to it either. Like, let's get rules together. This is what we don't mean we've been doing this for thousands of years. No. Terms and conditions, health and safety, profit margins. Can we get less tree into the ayahuasca? Can we dilute it a bit more? Okay, what do you think? But
get more out of it. Make them come back. We'll get them hooked.
Yeah, like a what do you call it? The stamp your cards. Every 9 ayahuascas you get your 10th one free. So. Yeah.
I only want to do it once though. Like take the.
Well, I think the proper thing is
whatever.
Is like you're meant to do it. It's a 10-day thing. There's the preparation. Do it every second day. To do it right. But I mean, that's one way doing it right. But the proper way, in one sense, is the way James did. You go for 10 months and you do it.
Yeah. I can't do that.
I couldn't do that. No. I have a kid.
I have
and
that,
a wife
like
and a business.
Every fucking website I open now, I get ads from Book Depository, and it's always the same one or two. It's always 2 books, right? But it's always the same one, and then one other random one. And it's that sworn book of Honoris. Honoris.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I like the like of that book, but I can't give you 70 days. I can't give you 72 days.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'll be next week. You know what I mean? Like how can I do a ritual that's 72 days long when I have literally no idea where I'll be in a couple of days' time? Do you know? Sorry.
I know, yeah, I understand, but also you probably could if you really wanted it. If it was £1 million at the end of it, I think you'd find a way. Just 10 minutes every day. Yeah, I could probably swing.
Look, I'll scoop up the horse shit in 20 minutes. I need 20 minutes because I need to go write an angel sigil in blood on vellum upstairs. Don't come up because it might get weird. I'll be speaking Latin and weird Hebrew and no, you don't want to know, all right?
Yeah.
How do you explain that to your father-in-law?
I understand. Yeah, which is why people, I suppose, end up doing these stuff astrally in the mind's eye, rather than physically doing it. And people do have good results with it. But strictly speaking, Dr. Skinner would say, not a doctor, not an actual doctor, would say that you should do it by the letter, by the thing. But anyway, so yeah, he does get back to Pepe, doesn't he? Or he does at some point, or does he?
Pepe they do meet up again, yeah. And Pepe has a great line. Mm-hmm. Pepe has a great line at the end of it. He's like, which I didn't write down. You fucking idiots.
He went, the wokeness of the wokeness is only woke if we are all woke and you are woke. Who is the woke? Am I the woke or are you the woke? Answers in a postcard. Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus.
he says he's something along the lines of, I understand now why. So Pepe has to move off to a city, and he works as a shaman in a city, and you see him going up to an intercom saying, Soil Shaman. So I'm the shaman or something, yeah.
Right.
So
Traveling shaman
to do a private thing for people or whatever. Grand, whatever. But like, he's obviously depressed living in the city.
Yeah.
And then he says like, yeah, now I know why James came here so depressed or something along those lines. But it's heartbreaking. You know, he had this life that he liked, being a shaman out in the jungle, and he liked it, and obviously got on well with it. You know, he had money too. He had gold teeth. Who the fuck has gold teeth anymore? Who's obviously minted.
No, well, it's not. It's the gold teeth thing, not to pay for your funeral. It's not the whole idea of gold teeth. That's why sailors
Sorry,
used to wear...
what? What's this?
Yeah, it's the same as why sailors used to wear gold jewellery or gold teeth and stuff like that. It's because when you die, then they take the gold to bury you. That was one of the stories I heard, how true it is, but it seems logical. But
There's
just
no way gold isn't worth that much though, is it?
Well, how expensive is to bury someone? You know what I mean?
It's a funeral surely about 10,000 euros or so, is it?
I don't know. I've no idea.
That's the last I heard anyway. And Jesus, I haven't lived in Ireland for 11, 12 years now.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, we're talking years ago. Like, I don't think people are getting gold teeth now. I think they just want to be, I was going to say Goldie, but he's 20.
God, you'd have to have an awful lot of gold teeth to pay for 10 grand, wouldn't you? Gold's expensive, but it's not that expensive.
And it's not really expensive. It's like diamonds. It's absolutely artificially.
Oh yeah, it's a total fake economy, isn't it? Gold. Yeah. It's not scarce at all. There's fucking loads of it.
Yeah, same with diamonds.
Diamonds as well, yeah.
Oh well, capitalism.
Hold on. Capitalism. Oh, I know. How do we make people buy old diamonds? We'll call them vintage.
Yeah. And then we can have a black market of blood diamonds because we kill people with them.
You go onto like Allegro, Polish eBay, and you're looking at like clothes and stuff, and they're calling like vintage Adidas polo shirts. It's like, that's 10 years. What the fuck is 10 years old? That's not
second hand.
vintage.
Yeah, just second hand.
Vintage is 100 years old. Not fucking. And I was starting to argue about this. It's like, no, actually, in the fashion industry, anything that's older than 25, I think, is allowed to be called vintage. That's bollocks.
Nah.
Fucking vintage. But then again, I suppose vintage wine doesn't have to be all that old, does it?
Made last week.
But so that's kind of the end of it then, isn't it?
So he comes home.
He goes back to the family.
And it's as if all has been resolved. And he says how great his life is. And a great line, he goes, yeah, but I still can't get out of the forests. And I'm like, yeah, man, I understand that. I can't get out of them. So ostensibly the ending is quite positive, where he comes and he's all better. The truth, however, is different. He comes home and he goes back on antidepressants. And he says this time it works, which they didn't work previously. And that's a big kind of help to him. I think he gets more therapy, but and he says it's a long journey or whatever, and he finally gets to where it is. But it's not kind of the ending of the documentary where it's kind of felt like it's saying that this thing, was his healing. It's his, while it was a huge part of it, and why it led to being able to work stuff out and not having the same opinions that I had about not caring what other people think, not having this kind of staunch materialist outlook, not thinking that intelligence and money is the motivating factor, and trying to fit into the world. While it did all help, it also took me a while to kind of come through it. And so his kind of thing now is that he's saying that, well, it is very helpful and all this, we can't be telling people that it's going to solve all your problems. It's not a panacea. It's not that's it. You've done this and now everything is sorted. She says this is not the case. I mean, it's not the way it used to be. He doesn't say this, but it's not the way it was given historically. We just kind of decided as Western people that we just need the one tablet, the one thing that'll sort it all out, or the one, which is because that was his thought going into it. He says, I need this one big thing to get past this, and it's because I suppose we have this kind of notion that there can be one big thing in your life that changes everything, because but it's usually in the negative sense, like there's a car crash or there's something. But we're expecting.
Or it can be Paul on the road to Damascus.
Yeah. Suddenly going, jeez, I'm a bit of a prick. I should stop. I should stop doing that. So we have the kind of the notion that can happen in reverse. That we have this very positive thing that happens to us, even though it could be born a bit of a destruction, like this. That and it's more his point, and I would say other people's point is that no, there's a progression. It's, you know, you still have to, the work still has to be done. These can give you great insights and they can certainly help you, but as part of a greater package within maybe taking the medication, maybe going to the therapy, maybe taking the ayahuasca, maybe doing the mushrooms, maybe doing all the things, but not hoping that going for a weekend mushroom trip, you know, with some guy in Holland or whatever you're doing, that's it, you've it sorted. Because I knew that myself coming out of therapy, and I'm sure you've had a similar thing where you think, oh, I've done it, and then you come out and go, oh no, the world is still like this, right? Okay, hold on. All right.
Fuck's sake, what the fuck?
You know, and so it's not just that while it's immensely helpful and sorts loads of stuff out, you know, you don't come out of any of these things. At least I don't think so. Suddenly, you know, the floating Buddha or the laughing Jesus or, you know, the ascended master.
Excuse me. I know I mentioned earlier, but I didn't write them down. But the scenes with the father are really good.
Yeah,
You
that
can
seems
see
to be
that
the,
he's
the crux of his problem is that relationship. I feel, and I think
yeah,
the father gets it too, like understands. But yeah, that heartbreaking scene, like you kind of go, I thought I was doing okay, and I fucked him up. You know.
yeah.
That's
Shit,
but that's the thing, you know, like that's what we were saying about, like, you can kind of, unless apart from actual abusive parents or whatever, they're like, they thought they were doing what was the thing to do, you know, even though, like, that said, I know sometimes when I'm, you know, shouting at my child that this is not the right thing to do, you know, there's sometimes when you catch up, go, no, this is just me being a shitty person, you know, because I haven't slept in properly or whatever it is, or I'm just in bad form. But I think the father's outlook of, you know, money, prestige, status, education, all that, like that's obviously what he did, because, you know, he has a good job, he seems to be wealthy, and so he says, well, this is how you do well in the world. And then if you have someone who's doesn't find that rewarding, you know, but that's so many people, but this is the world. Like, what do? You end up with CBT, where you just go, well, I'm going to try and make it that it's okay for you to live in this place, or what, because you're not changing the world, you know. And it's I think there's more and more people kind of seeing that it's that you can work on yourself, do all that, but you're not going to change the world. And, you know, that can be hard to deal with in that you're still going to have to be in a world that you don't, you know, that you're not suited for, in a sense. And, you know, that's never going to be solved. And of course there is people who are totally suited to this world and, you know, do well or whatever. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just I
think it's more that I think it's more that he just had shitty career advice. Do you know, it was like instead of it being like we don't know, but maybe let's just say he had a talent for the arts or something. So instead of him being encouraged to get into, I don't know, graphic design, be a fucking tattoo artist, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Instead of him being encouraged to that, it's like, no, you got to go to college, you got to wear a suit to work.
Yeah.
You know?
Have to make the money.
That's what I had. You know what I mean? Drove me bonkers. Fucking, they still hate computers. You know? Yeah. And it's like, but obviously I think he definitely had it a lot worse than what I did. But it's that if it had been caught quicker, kind of where his talent was or what he was good at, and that's the kind of life he'd have gone into, he probably just would have been a normal, happy person. Like,
yeah, I wonder what he's doing now. He doesn't mention it in his talk, though. Like what he grew up to be.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, like there's I don't get this pressure of having to go to college or whatever. It's like you need to have letters behind your name. Fuck off. You know what I mean? We need plumbers every bit as much as we need fucking doctors. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need a plumber even more than you need a doctor. Yeah. You know, it's bollocks.
It's just
I'm not
very
gonna rant about education. I hate education. I hate it.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's particularly, well, I can only speak for the Irishman, but it's for a very, well, it's designed for a factory worker in the 40s, isn't it? And that, like, it give you a general education of what you will need to sit in your hole for the rest
just
of your life.
because you have letters behind your name, like, that doesn't mean you're smarter than anyone. It just means that you're rich enough to be able to afford to stay in school for a long time
yeah.
while I had to get a job.
Yeah.
It's meaningless. You know what I mean? It is. It's meaningless. Doctor, not a medical doctor. So what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't actually cure anyone. You're not a doctor. Yeah, you have a DR behind you, in front of your name. So what? That just means you got to stay in school longer than me. I could have those as well if I had your money. You know? That's it, but that's it.
Yeah, it is. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm laughing just because I'm not bitter about it. But I mean, you should be bitter about it.
No, I am bitter about it. I would love to have done a master's and stuff. Hey, look, everyone over here does, like, in the way at home that everyone does a degree, everyone in Poland does a master's.
Right, okay.
Because it's paid
that's the
for
baseline. Oh, right.
No, not the baseline, but that's free education until you get a master's.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
You know? Whereas in Ireland, it's a degree. I'd love to have done a master's and stay in school for another 2 years and learn more about what I was into. But I couldn't, you know? And like, okay, you have those 2 letters behind your name, but they're meaningless. It doesn't mean you're smarter than me. It just means you got to stay in school longer than me. That's it. That's all they mean, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's, and I suppose even now it's seen just how more worthless these type of things are, given by like you need a master's degree, minimum wage, or you're offered 15 quid or something. You know what I mean? Like, or you need 20 years experience, 10 or now. You know, it's just it really doesn't matter. And most people, I suppose, once you get past anyone I know who's super successful, I suppose, in certain things, aren't qualified in the area they work in. You know what I mean? Like, or have no qualifications in it whatsoever. A friend of mine is a very successful writer in computer games, and he's just has a really good CV, but he's no masters in writing. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. Like, but it's I don't know what he did in college. Actually, some form of media studies, I suppose, would be the thing. But like it's like, you're right. So it doesn't mean anything. You know, given that it's irrelevant to your job seeking, and you know, ultimately doesn't feed into what most people end up doing anyway. You know. I don't know. Yeah. I went to college to do woo-woo.
You got to fuck around longer than the rest of us did. That's what it means. Yeah. You know, you didn't have to get a job like the rest of us. You know, yeah, well done. Woohoo. You know.
Yeah. Not happy note. Send your doctorates. Your what are the things when they give you a doctorate for just being a cool person? The honorary doctorate. Send all your honorary doctorates to Spud. I'd love to be able to call you Dr. Spud, not a medical doctor. But you
can buy one. You can buy a doctor for $20 or $30 on that's what Hunter Thompson bought his.
Ian Paisley bought his too, didn't he? Yeah.
Doctor of Divinity. Yeah. Maybe we'll buy one.
Yeah, we should buy one. Yeah. Did someone point out that Gillian Keith, the dietitian or something, that who got Dr. Gillian Keith?
Yeah,
not a medical doctor. They bought the same doctorate for his cat that she has, just to prove that it's just bollocks. These doctors, yeah.
Look, it's not, but yeah, okay. Like, you deserve your names behind. You deserve the letters because you've done the extra study. I get that, but that's all it is.
Well, isn't the idea of the thesis though of the masters that you have to do something that no one else has done, or you have to come up with an original idea? Is that actually true, or is that just me thinking it's true?
Well, I mean, there's no such thing as original. I already proved that during the week.
There you go. Yeah. But it can't be anyway.
It has to. Yeah, no, it has to be something that hasn't been written before. Yeah.
Yeah.
The missus had to do hers on Cyberpunk.
Really?
Fucking she hates it.
Nice.
She had to watch Johnny Mnemonic and lots of shit films like that. Like, I know.
And a shit computer game that came out recently. So what are we giving? How many Shamans out of 10? Is we give this?
I want to give it a 7. 8 Peter Kingsleys.
Just to get the name. I will also give it 8 Peter Kingsley out of 10. I think it's worth watching. It's on a number of Netflix. It definitely was on the Irish Netflix at one point because I watched it originally on that. Or you can buy it.
I know it's another ayahuasca documentary, but there's plenty in it to
and there's a unique.
You learn more about the ritual, about the ceremony.
Yeah,
and also you get to laugh about just how fucking unlucky he is, and you get to see Matthew McConaughey with a mullet.
Yeah, and
with AIDS.
This film, the reason it got on Netflix is because Leonardo DiCaprio was a big champion of it. So just to get that in, expected some documentary about him going to the jungle of Peru to take ayahuasca at some point, or maybe he has done. I don't know, but people seem to like it. Apart from that one person on IMDb who thought it was about white privilege, which it is. Like, I mean, okay, okay, it is. It's but it's still worth your time.
Yeah, I want to see a whole load of like, I believe the term is gangbangers. From, did you ever see Louis Theroux in Philadelphia? My God, that looks like a shithole. Holy fuck, that's one of the. Oh, it's a terrible episode. Why would anyone ever want to go there? Yeah. But I want to see a whole load of gangbangers from Philadelphia go on a trip to Peru and take ayahuasca. That'd be class.
See what happens.
That'd be good fun. Yeah. And don't do it in a comedic way. You know, just all you need to do is let the cameras roll. Aye, they'll look after all that. That'd be fun.
That would be good. We should organise that. we should get on to hello Philadelphia. Yes, here's what we would like to do. I actually know a filmmaker who lives in Philadelphia.
I need 5 of your worst gangbangers.
McManus, if you were listening to this, get on it. Do that because you're a filmmaker in Philadelphia. You're the man for this job. You should do this. Right, that's it. Kind of deflating ending, but bye.
Bye.